Okay, I know I said I was going to start the discussion on the build, but we'll talk just a little bit more about the design. Like I said before, you got to start around your spindle, because you've got your clamps and then you got your rails, and where all that sits, that will determine the width of your Z-box, which will tell you how much, where it's going to hit these walls. So you need this information, and also give your X and Y location, mainly your Y location, distance from here to your spindle, and this thing can only travel so far, and that will put your spindle, like for example, you don't want your spindle out here in the air, or maybe you do, but if you're doing some kind of work where you want to mount your work to the side and work at the end of the boards, you might want that. But if you're just working on the table, then you don't want to, like here, I've got these motors that kind of offset everything, because the spindle's this direction, and then the screws over there. So you take all this into account, and then your spindle ends up pretty much at the edge of your table. Okay, you need this information, and like I said, you'll jump back and forth on your information. Like you'll gather that information for this. There's information on the Y supports here, the width of it, because you have to have your rail bolted down. You have to have your pillow blocks bolted down. Can't have any interference, and this is going to be a certain width. So by the time you get this width and this location for your screw and the bearings, that'll give you information from here to go for your gantry. It all has to jump back and forth a little bit. Yeah, and then when you're building your electronics box, you want to. Originally I was going to put it under the table, but the more I thought about it, the crawling under there to work on anything, or disassembling stuff to get it out, or just being a pain to get to it, you want to think about access. So that's why I put hinges. I put a hinge here. This comes up. I've got a hinge on the bottom, and it swings up, so it swings out like a mouth. Easy access, because if I could only take the front plate off, then you've got tight spots. But by allowing full access, it's just going to be a lot easier to work on. So you want to think of things like that. And when you go to wire it, you want to anchor it. A lot of this is second thought. This is stuff that I didn't think through in the beginning. I just thought, well, I'll figure it out. And so there's a lot of little scabbed boards here and there. Doesn't look too good, but try and get function. But when you've got your wires hooked up, you don't want a lot of pulling on the terminals. So you got to anchor it good. You have to give enough travel to get where you need to go, but not too much that creates undue slack. So that's pretty much it. So we get into the table, and the table, I've never built a table before. And this is just a basic, you got your upright 2x4s. They're just a certain length, and you want to work. I saw a YouTube video one time where a guy was making benches or work tables or something like that, or everything in his shop he wanted the same height or something. But he was working off of a table height of just below his elbow. And you don't want to be like lifting your shoulders to work all the time. That would be no good at all. So I figured the table to be just below my elbow. That's going to be low for a lot of people, but I'm the one using it. I'm short. It works for me. And you got leveling pads that you can adjust. And but there's nothing a lot to it. I mean, it's basically the 2x4s that's surrounding. You got 4 uprights, and then you got 2x4s around the top, 2x4 frame around the bottom, and then I've got all these braces that make it all solid. And I've got what, 3 layers of 2 layers of MDF, 1 layer of what do you call it, Baltic birch plywood, and then the spoil board. So this creates a very sturdy, stable tabletop. I'm not talking about my rails here. I'm only talking about my table. Grab the phone here. So, see underneath it here. I scabbed in some extra pieces right there, and that allowed me to have something to screw to, because like right here, when if you put your corner brace on this 2x4, there's no support here flush with this 2x4. There's nothing there. The back side of this board is the front side of this board, so you have to take something like, say, something like this, that's maybe this wide, screw it in from the other side or into this board, then you can screw this into this one. Oh, I'm sitting here, got you all weird. Anyway, that it worked really good. I don't know if that's the proper way to do it, but it worked for me. I have I don't know if you can see them, probably can't, but in there where this mounts to here, there's 4 pieces of rubber grommet sort of a thing, and maybe it doesn't matter, but I thought it might dampen some vibration, so I did that. Originally I had the tabletop here, and I had a little overhang. It was going to go the distance, and I was either going to use it for a wire chain or I might have just put holes in it and put tool bits and cutters and stuff in there. But it ended up being, when originally I wasn't going to put the box right here. I was going to put it under the table, but then I decided no, I'm going to put the box there. So then I just ended up extending the box and making a frame. So the reason this is 3 pieces here is, I don't remember exactly why, but I had designs where I needed to cut this on the CNC, and this is too wide for my other CNC. So I cut it in strips, and then I cut my design out on the back side like I wanted. Then I figured out, hey, I'm not even going to do it that way. So I could have used 1 sheet after all, but this works. It doesn't matter. These have a whole lot of bolts going all the way through. They go through the spoil board all the way through the table, so it's very secure. And then I've got a power strip screwed on, and a lot of holes in there where the wires go through to the electronics box. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So that's it for the table build. Like I said, there was just a little more. Just going over that again. Like the frame, it's just a basic frame. Top is just plywood and MDF. We'll get into the rest of that, the order of the build, the Y-axis rails and the X-axis gantry. We'll talk about that more directly. But today's just the table. I have lousy internet, so I have to just do 5 or 10 minutes at a time. Otherwise, it just takes all day to upload 1 video. So there you go. That's it for the table. Thanks.